AJ, you were here last year, and at this point, when the team was 7-1 and facing an A&M team, we've heard it all year, all off season, all summer. This feels like a different team that's equipped for these kind of challenges. Is this a different 7-1 team from what you saw a year ago?
I feel like so just because we all know the one goal and like last year, I mean, it's no different, but now that the players that were here last year, like myself and Jackson and all of us, now we've seen it before. We've seen greatness. So why just let off the gas? Just keep pushing. So I feel like we still installed the just want to know every day, just being coaching one like Coach Kiffin try to bring around here and, just go do the small things.
JJ, what can you tell us about that package we saw you in with Sanders and you at quarterback? What is that play?
I mean, I played it in high school, and it was a lot of flashbacks. They stole my touchdown. I know I put it over, but I ain't go. He said he's seen it, so I guess he's seen it. But like I said, it's just a way to get me the ball and put stress on the defense.
Yes, having done that in high school and, with as innovative as Kiffin is, did you kind of have some input in kind of the development of that play?
Really, even in high school when they called it, I just went out there and just ran the play. It wasn't like just me overthinking stuff. It was just me, mano a mano, just being me and just trying to score, really.
From week one to now, where has this defense improved the most, and where do you think it still has to go?
I feel like we improved so much just now understanding Coach Golden's philosophy and how he sees his defense, and I feel like we have a lot of talent. And now I feel like in the first game versus Mercer, like us just trying to put together the pieces, like it was a lot of transfers coming in and just trying to get to know each other. And like I feel if we put it all together, which we have, it's going like we played against Arkansas. We shut down the run game and the pass game, and just past this week Vanderbilt. Just doing the small things and being able to communicate on the sideline with Coach Golden and our coaches, and just being able to go out there and execute.
I guess when Lane was in here yesterday, he was just talking about just how talented that A&M roster was, not just defensively, but offensively, even on special teams. When you look at their offense, just kind of what popped off the tape immediately.
They got a lot of weapons. The O-line is sound key from center to guard tackle. And, they got the number 0, the quick guy, Evan Stewart. But like I said, we just got to worry about us and our defense and being able to just keep them one-dimensional and not let them go around and, just toss the ball and run the ball.
AJ, numbers-wise, I guess, pretty good pass rush last year. Looks elite on paper this year. What's changed?
Just us locking in and just believing the plan that Coach Jordan is giving us. Like Jordan does a great job with the pass rush games, and him and Coach Golden give him leeway to just call them. And I feel like we just all know who can go, and like we do different personnels and just trying to get different people in spots to go against maybe the weakest O lineman. So I feel like they do a great job with that.
I guess with where we are in the middle of the season, I know obviously, players on this team are busy with practice, academic classes, whatnot. But when you enter this point where the college football playoff is coming out, where this team is right now, is it hard to, to turn your eyes away from it, even in the slightest moment of freedom?
I feel like they just do a great job of just next opponent and just, keeping us not thinking about that. But we obviously know in the back of our head we have a chance. But we really just think about the next opponent, and you win the next game and the next game, and it set us up for that.
JJ, going back to what you just said about the different personnel that you guys use on the defensive line. I mean, you've been on both sides of that. So, when you're blocking, obviously as a tight end or an offensive lineman, how difficult is that to deal with when guys just keep changing spots like you've done this year?
It's very difficult just because you always have to switch, and like sometimes you just don't see him or like see the number who it is, and maybe this dude maul you every play, and then they switch somebody and he like finesses you. So you just really got to key in and lock in to your assignment and what you're doing, and just know who the person is across from you.
I know you guys don't really think about last year, but what do you remember in last year's matchup just off the top of your head, and what are you trying to replicate or do differently this time around?
Just really just We play at A&M, so we just try to pack our defense and just stop the run. So I feel like we just stop the run and just make them one-dimensional. I feel like we'll be in a great position, and our offense go score. So defense just got to shut them out.
You're talking about focusing on us, especially where we are in the middle of the season. You feel like that was harder to do last year, and do you feel like having gone through that once prepared you to kind of go through it this time around?
I don't feel like it was just harder. I feel like we were all just new. Like last year was my first year coming back, and just Dart first year, so it was just new to us, and we were just getting used to the system. But I feel like now that we are here as leaders, we can control the environment and the people here just because they respect us in a way, and we don't try to do the utmost things and all that. So we be realistic with ourselves at the end of the day, down to earth, and we just try to, keep one vision, and that's 1-0 and the next opponent. Thank y'all.